It's the best reward in my opinion in
Yeah.
D&D.
So how frequent do you give these magic items out generally?
Um, Most of the time, any time they're out adventuring at like the end of a dungeon, or especially boss fights, obviously, and if they decide to take out a dragon horde, depending on the type of dragon, obviously there's going to probably be way too many different types of magic items. I also am as a player, I'm an optimizer, and I like to make sure that I'm the balancing force to the party, whatever the party needs. And so as a DM, I do the same thing with magic items. I try and figure out what my players have, their strengths and weaknesses, and I like to shore that up. I like to give them things that help them round their characters out, even if they may not think that they need it. It's stuff that, if the rogue feels left out because the barbarian and the fighter have a strength, and give him a gauntlet of ogre power so that he now has, strength to kind of match the, if he decides to use it, that's great. But I like to give them the options to shore up their characters, and the weaknesses that they have, because we all know when building characters, there's usually only two stats that we worry about. There's one thing that we're really good at, and unless we're a bard, we kind of suck at everything else. So I like to give those magic items at the end of pretty much, I don't want to say every adventure, but pretty close. It's pretty close. And along the way to, it's not like if they get ambushed by a little goblin party that they're all going to have +1 daggers. It's not that frequent, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or get wrecked. Maybe if you even survive that encounter, right? Good luck.
So I'm very frequent.
Interesting. Okay, so I see. It sounds you kind of took a little more of like a Borderlands approach, if you will, right? Where you've got there's too many guns for you to fit in all your pockets, and so you just kind of have to like whatever your best options are, kind of surface to the top, in effect. And I guess if you're not playing with encumbrance, you probably just have loads of things. That's. Yeah,
like I'd rather give magic items that they could sell than give them gold.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, not gonna lie. Every time I played as a player in one of your campaigns, I feel freaking awesome because I can do so much. It's so broken sometimes with the crap that I can pull off.
No such thing.
I can see now. That's an interesting perspective. We'll dig into that here in a sec. So. I would say to your Borderlands, I probably play a little more like a Dark Souls, right? Where it's pretty brutal. Like I'll give you, I definitely make sure all my players are rewarded, and I like to talk to my players to figure out, okay, what are you looking for, right? So I'll either provide them with enough gold to where they can save up and buy something, right? So like they go into a shop, they can see this nice, sexy axe that's on the wall, and but it's also 1,000 gold, and they're looking at, they're like, oh crap, I've only got 300. So yeah, they've got to go on quests 4 or 5 times and then come back and then they buy that axe and they feel so accomplished. They're like, yes. And then I just give them something. I'm just kidding. To replace it. Nah. So yeah, that's a little more my style. I don't know. I can appreciate both, I guess, but I do like having my players work pretty hard in order to get some of those things. It keeps I don't know. And maybe I just like the leash aspect of keeping people on the leash.
And to your point, I think that there's a fine balance between the two of ours. That's probably the better of the middle ground.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Because you guys probably feel like spoiled brats. That's like, oh, I don't need to buy stuff. He's just gonna give it to me here the next session.
Daddy's got me. Yep.
So there's probably a detriment to that on my side. I give out too much to where you guys don't feel like you have to work for it. I don't know. Yours, I definitely do feel when we play, I definitely have to work for it, and I really have to scrounge for it, which is great too. It depends on the campaign I think you're in. I think it just works depending on your player base too.